Welcome back to the channel, you guys. It's your girl, Wicked Raider 22, taking a second to kind of revisit a topic that several new players have kind of hit for me. They are now to the point you've hit level maybe 30, 35, or 40. You're kind of settling in on your major team of champions. And at this point, you've got to figure out what's the best way for you to go through your account and run the largest number of champions possible in order to gain the food that's needed to upgrade the champions you plan on keeping. It's a really, really layered question, to be honest. And there are a lot of strategies for it. I've seen it done in so many different ways, but I'm willing to share, of course, some of the methods that I've used and the things that I've done and probably wouldn't recommend doing again. So I've done it all. I promise you. I promise you. First things first, guys. Running food champions, what I've done to remind myself that I'm running food champions is I first try to figure out which of my lead champions is going to be my farmer. Who's going to be in front? Who's going to carry my team? And is that champion strong enough to get the job done? The easiest way for you to figure that out for a lot of you guys that came in when I first did, Deliana may be your first is she epic or legendary? Your first login champion that you finally got. I think she's legendary. And so if you can run Deliana with three food champions, three champions that are bare, they're not running with anything on them, then she's strong enough to carry or solo that particular stage of either campaign or dungeon or what have you. So you will notice what I normally do. I will have moments where I mainly have Deliana that's doing all the work. And all of my other champions are 1 stars, 2 stars, no artifacts, no nothing. I'm simply running them with the thought in mind that they're going to be consumed at a later date. The longer you go in the game, here's something else. You will commonly forget which champions you're focusing on for this particular task. And so I either lock those champions or I choose to use the exact same champion as my food for the next couple of days. So if I've been pulling a ton of Death Knights, I pulled a ton of Sister Militants, for example. One while I was running like 7 Sister Militants as food because I could easily visually look at it and remember I'm not going to use this champion for anything else but food. And so they were going to be run. I'm going to upgrade them and then run them again. Another thing is it makes you kind of pause and think about how are you using your multi-battles? Every day you're logging in, you have roughly 40 battles if you aren't adding anything else, if you haven't opened a magical chest or anything like that. You are pretty much running those champions so that you have the time. You've got to make time, space, and have the ability to actually come in and get this done. Guys, multi-battles can save you so much. If I have 30 minutes, 20 minutes, an hour to sit at the computer, I'm going to run my arena battles, my clan boss, my faction wars. I'm going to run all the battles that force me to kind of sit and pay attention to what I have going. But when it comes down to just running food, right now we're in the middle of CVC. And so I'm running these champions more so because I want to go ahead and level them up, kind of move them out of the way, but also because, this is one of the areas where I garner a large number of points just because I'm getting done what I would have to do either way it goes. You will hear champions or you will hear veteran players encourage you to focus on leveling up one champion at a time. Where it becomes really difficult for you, when you're early game, guys, you're going to notice that Plarium plays with you a lot. It feels as though you have infinite energy. It feels as though you can't go wrong. Honestly, with Silver, it feels as though you even have gems. Like you have so many gems starting out. And you will hear me say this over and over again. Tread lightly. Tread extremely lightly. I'm actually looking forward to starting a new free-to-play account, like trimming down and starting a brand new 2023 account for free to play, just because I have so many ways I want to approach it now that I know, what the content is going to require later on. And you'll notice every account you deal with, every account you go through, you're going to be able to level up quicker and quicker. So even when I go back mid-year and decide, hey, let me try another free to play and kind of see what's changed about it, I'm able to level up so much quicker because you've learned so many lessons. Here's another one. Be careful about spreading your artifacts too thin. I've seen quite a few accounts. I've seen some really, really, really heavily laced accounts. I mean, you have epics and legendaries running everywhere, but you're also level 35 or 40. And it's not that your champions are not good. You haven't gotten to the point where you're pulling the resources needed to push those champions. And so they're kind of stuck at the level of a really great booked out rare, or that one epic that you've been able to book. Honestly, I would focus on choosing my one epic champion that I am really there for, who's most versatile. Who can I run in campaign? Who can I use in potion keeps? Who can I run through dungeons? Even if you're not going to focus on arena, you want to have arena running in the back of your mind long enough for you to max out your great haul. And that is a feat. When you start looking at how many points you're earning, and how many of those will be required to go from one level to the next when it comes to the Great Hall, it gets pretty daunting. Like it's wow, and I see people that max out their Great Hall in less than 3 months. Guys, I don't put that much time in. I just simply do not. Normally, when I'm running multi battles, it's before I go to work or before I go to bed. I think those are probably my biggest moments. Or if I'm at home for the day, if I can get up, start my cleaning routine, I will come in, set my multi battles, and let these guys run all the way through while I'm doing other tasks. And for me, that has proven most productive. It allows me not to interfere. I can run the champions that I'm always tempted to consume at a lower level than I should. But it also takes away the thought of, I'm just going to use champions to empower champions. There's nothing else that I have learned. Do not pull your mystery shards to, for example, let's say I pull a champion, they're already a 3-star. And so I want to go ahead and level them up to a 4-star. And I have sat and not only watch, but early game, I've done it myself. I would pour in enough champions to level that one 3-star up. Guys, you will go through so many champions. And you're thinking to yourself, oh, it's just a 1-star. It's just a 2-star. It won't matter. Yes. Yes, it does. It absolutely will. And so when you're thinking about your food, you're running those champions as quickly as possible, as effectively as possible, and you want to run them at the highest level that you can. Even if you set your multi-battles to the point where you are selling off all of the artifacts that have been, simply acquired from those battles, it's fine. You're going to use that silver. You're going to get to the point where moving one artifact is 50,000 silver. Moving one artifact is 80,000 silver. Don't forget, opening shards goes from 5,000 to 20,000 to 100,000. There's always an area for you to use silver. The other thing is you start pulling those 5 and 6-star artifacts. It's going to cost you more. So going in with that idea, just keeping yourself focused, pick the champion that you know you want to work on, especially if it's a summons, especially if you can garner points in more than one event or tournament at a time. Those are always good areas for you to kind of come in and hit off top. Hopefully, guys, it gives you a little bit to think about. I would love to know, where are you champion-wise? How many champions have you 6-starred so far? Do you have your teams built for Tag Team Arena? And I'm going to do a video actually on Doom Tower, because I haven't seen very many early game Doom Tower videos. I think it's one area where a lot of us kind of shy away. I think the Iron Twins is kind of the same thing. You don't necessarily feel as though you're getting a lot out of it. But for those of us who have unlocked those two areas in particular at this point, I would just kind of like to go in and do a deeper dive. So be on the lookout for those videos as well. Hope you guys are doing great and have a wonderful day. And as always, if you're looking for a clan, we have slots available. 22WK would love to have you. It'll be just in time for the next CVC that's coming toward the end of the month, just before Christmas. So if you need a clan to join, we're open for all levels. We'd love to have you in there active and also in the chats. And as always, happy gaming.